Okay, so today's video, you should copy everything that is in my notebook that I write down, you should write down. If you need to pause the video, pause it, rewind, go at your own speed, watch the video twice. The more you watch it, the more information you get and the better prepared you'll be, and you'll feel successful in class tomorrow. All right, so you should already have this glued down. So we're going to read this problem, we're going to do cubes, and then we're going to work through how to solve it. So a local college football team practices every day to prepare for the start of football season. To begin each practice, they run for a set amount of time. In 1 week, I'm going to circle that, in 1 week. Because even though that's not a number, I think 1 week represents a number. So in 1 week, they run for a combined, that might be an action word that tells me something to put together. A combined 378 minutes at the start of practice. Oh, here's a question, how? How many, I think we're missing a Y. How many minutes do they run to begin each practice? So how many minutes do they run to begin each practice, combined? So I'm going to put them together. So am I going to, so it already says that they're combined. So all together, so this is a total here. But they said in 1 week. So what does 1 week mean? 1 week means 7 days. So the whole 7 days, they're running 378 minutes. Okay, now I understand. All week long, that's how many minutes total. But it says how many minutes do they run to begin each practice. So it's like I have to split it up. So I'm going to do division. So the way I'm going to solve it, and you're going to solve it the same way, I'm going to make a box. I'm going to write my 378 minutes inside, and I'm going to write my 7 outside. So I have to see how many times 7 goes into 378. Every single time we do this problem, we're going to start with 10 times and 100 times, just to see where we get. And I'm going to do 7. Well, 10 times 7 gives me 70. 100 times 7 gives me 700. Okay, that can definitely go in there. This is too big. So I'm going to start. You put a piece of tape down here. Now I'm realizing that it's going to mess up my problem because I'm going to need to write there. So how many times? So I'm going to take a group of 10 out. 10 times 7 is 70. So every time I'm going to do this, I'm going to see what 10 times 7 is and 100 times 7. So I'm going to subtract and see how many I left. Well, you know what? That didn't get me very far. I'm only down to 308. Maybe I need to take a few more groups of 10 out. So I could keep going with taking groups of 10 out, but that might take me a long time. I'm going to take a group of 30 out. So what's 30 times 7? I'm just going to see instead if I take a group of 30 out. 0 times 7 is 0. 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to take out 30 groups of 7. And I just showed my work over here. 8 minus 0 is 8. I can't do 0 minus 1. So to borrow from the hundreds and turn this one into a 10, 10 minus 1 is 9. Okay, now I'm left with 98. I'm getting closer. So I'm going to make a new box with 98. Now I'm going to go back to my fact here because 70 is still under. So I'm going to take another group of 10 out. 10 times 7 is 70. I'm getting there. 8 minus 0 is 8. 9 minus 7 is 2. I know my 7 facts. How many times can 7 go into 28? 7 times what? If you don't know that fact and you need to write your facts on the side of your paper, that is fine. So 4 times 7 is 28. There you go. Now I'm at 0. So what is my answer? How many minutes do they run? I have to add these parts together. 10 plus 30 is 40. 40 plus 10 is 50. 4 more. So that was 54. 40, 54. Well, my 54 what? How many minutes do they run to begin each practice? They run 54 minutes. All right, so I'm going to move on to my next problem, and I'm going to try to practice the same thing that the same strategy that I just learned. All right, so this time, the first grade teachers at Teal Ridge Elementary are creating paper chains to count down the days of school. One teacher volunteered to cut the paper they would need for the chains. Oh, I totally picture what's going on when they have those chains that go the different directions. The next one goes this way and then goes this way. So sometimes doing them with the holidays, sometimes we'll write on them. So one teacher volunteered to cut the paper they need for the chains, and they cut 1,446 strips of paper. The paper will be evenly divided. Oh, that was a big action word or a clue as to what I should be doing. Between the 8 teachers on the first grade team. I don't think that first grade team is really a number. I think it's just telling where those 8 teachers belong. Here's my question. How many strips of paper will each teacher receive? So this is how many I have. This is what I need to cut it into. So I'm going to make my box. 1,446. I have to see how many times 8 goes in. The hardest part is figuring out where to start. So I'm going to do my 10 and 100. 10 times 8 is only 80. That would take a long time. 100 times 8 is 8 with 2 zeros. 800. 800 is going to take a huge chunk out. So I'm going to start taking a group of 100. So I take a group of 100 eighths. That was 800. I just did that. So I did over here. I saw what 10 times 8 was. I saw what 100 times 8 was. And I realized 800 is less than 1,446. So 100 times 8 is 800. 6 minus 0 is 6. 4 minus 0 is 4. I can't do 4 minus 18, 8. But 14 minus 8 is 6. All right. This is too big. I can't use 100 anymore. But I could use 10s. That would take me a really long time. So let's see what 8 times. Let's not use 10. Let's try like a few groups of 10. I'm going to try 50. So I'm going to see like what 5 groups of this would be. So I'm going to try 50 times 8. 0. 5 times 8 is 40. So I'm going to try 50 groups because 400 is still smaller, right? So 50 times 8 is 400. So I'm going to write it right here. 6 minus 0 is 6. 4 minus 0 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. New box. And I just move this number up. So I could keep using groups of 8. 50 groups is too big. So let's try, what do we want to try? So I'm going to try, how about, I'll take out a group of 10. 10 times 8 is 80. Let's see. 6 minus 0 is 6. I can't do 4 minus 8, so let's turn it into 14. 3 minus 8 is 6. 166. Let's keep going. Let's take out another group of 10. 10 times 8 is 80. 6 minus 0 is 6. 16 minus 8 is 8. Okay, I got one more group I know can go in. 8 goes into 86. And another group of 10. And I have 6. So I keep taking out pieces until I get to the end. So I have a remainder of 6. It can't go into 6 anymore. So instead I'm going to say 100 plus 50. So that's 150. 10, 10, and 10 is 30. So 150 plus 30 is 180. So I have 180, remainder 6. My question says, how many strips of paper will each teacher receive? They can't receive like a remainder of paper, so I think I'm not even going to include that and just leave that as like my extra bin. So each teacher is going to receive 180 strips. So tomorrow in class, we're going to do something that looks just like this. This is what we're going to practice, this method of dividing.